Okay, guys, we're back. For the lack of a better video, today I'm going to show you guys some tips how I go about measuring a fish on a kayak fishing tournament. First of all, we already talked in the previous video, you need a catch board. I don't have a fish here, right? I was planning to make this video. I was going to catch crappie and then show you guys how I do this to catch a fish. Today we're going to improvise. We're going to use a musky lure. This is my fish. This is my catch of the day. Right? I'm going to enter into the tournament. I will make a better video later on. I just want to get this up right now for all the people that are new to the tournament scene and are doing this for the first time. Okay. Catch a fish. Your fish is in the net. First tip. Leave your fish in the net. This is a thing that I call leaving the fish in my live well. I leave the fish in the net. I leave the net hanging on the side of the kayak. The handle of the net is under my seat against my leg, so the net's not falling over. I do this so the fish is in the water and it's not going to die, right? We want to keep the fish safe. It's all about conservation, right? That's what we do a lot of catch and release. 2, I leave the fish in the net because I just want it to calm down. I want it to chill. It's stressed out. You were just fighting it. If it was a smallie, you were probably fighting it for like a good 4 minutes on a light rod, whatever. While the fish is in the net, de-stressing, calming down, I'm clearing out the deck of my kayak. And I say this because some of us, like myself, I am bad for carrying too many rods while I'm fishing. And sometimes while tournament fishing, I get carried away and I grab one rod and instead of putting it back in the rod holder, put it beside me, then I grab another one. All of a sudden, I got 3-4 rods on my deck and it's a mess. I got lures everywhere, whatever. So, this is when I kind of just sit back, clear my deck. Tip number 2. Avoid measuring a fish with the catch board on your lap. Some of you are going to watch this and say, what do you mean? I've been measuring fish on my lap this whole time and I had no problem. Good for you. But it's not a good idea. Because you will lose fish. Period. The best thing to do, if you have a wide kayak, like I know in the Hobies, the catchboard fits perfectly on the floor. I'm not sure about the old towns, like the newer models. But if it does, perfect. Sits on the floor. Right? Then, don't forget, identifier visible, right? If your catchboard does not fit flat on the floor of your kayak, avoid having it on an angle, right? One tip I used to do with my old kayak, I would have this sitting, we'll call the gunnel, the rail of the kayak, but here this end wouldn't touch the other end, so it would dip like that. So I would leave one fishing rod sitting straight on the floor, and then I would just like support this with the fishing rod. And now my catchboard is straight. You are not allowed to have it on an angle. If it's on an angle in the picture, it's no good. So, put it straight. Then what you want to do. I got a pocket in my life vest here. Open the zipper. Pocket comes out like this. I unlock my phone and I open my camera. So phone is unlocked. Camera's ready to go. Catchboard is ready to go. Now the only thing missing is a fish. So we grab our fish. And we're going to put it on the catchboard. Now don't forget. Obviously, I'm backwards right now because I'm showing you guys. But the belly of the fish must be facing the angler. The right angle is this. I'm staring at the fish. The nose is here against the board. Mouth is closed, belly facing the angler, right? The identifier is not touching the fish. The identifier is above the board, on the floor. It's got to be in the picture. Another thing I see a lot of people do, which I really disagree with. Some people, in order to not lose a fish, they will death grip it. Like, I mean, I've seen people squeeze these fish so hard, it looks like their eyes are popping out. I'm telling you from experience that it's not necessary to death grip a fish. I do put my hand over the fish. Now keep in mind, do not put your hand on the gills, especially under the gills, or do not over the tail, over the belly. I put my hand over the belly, just enough pressure that I know that I'm pushing his nose against the bump board. Why? Because you want to make sure his mouth is closed. If his mouth is open just a little bit, you're going to get a deduction. So I just put enough pressure on him so that his nose is against the bump board and his mouth stays closed. Now, some fish are just crazy, especially smallmouth. They're mental. They flop and spit all over the place and they're crazy. Largemouth are more chill, so it's not much of a fight. If the smallie is going crazy, a little tip that I can give you that I do to calm it down, I cover his eyes, just like this. Cover his eyes for like a good 3 seconds. Most of the time it helps. I'm being honest, not always, but I find that a lot of times cover his eyes, 3-4 seconds, whatever. They calm down. Just put pressure on him so his nose is against the bump board. Make sure the mouth is closed. At this point, with your other hand, you can snap your picture. Grab your phone, snap, snap. Take a couple pictures. Then, you're going to grab your fish, and guess what? He's going back in the live well. What does this mean? I'm putting him back in the net. The net's hanging on the side of the kayak. The fish is in the water. Keeping him alive, keeping him safe. While this is happening, I grab my phone. I look at my pictures. And when I look at my pictures, what do I see? Is the nose touching the bump board? Yes. Is the mouth closed? Yes. Are my hands under his gill? No. Are my hands covering his eyes? No. Are my hands covering his tail or above the tail? No. Is this a valid picture? Yes. If it's a picture I like, I submit it. If I don't like, and the second or third picture I took also are no good, or they're blurry, you don't see the identifier, you don't see the length. Always, like I said, make sure the full board is there, at least until where the tail ends is there. You can grab the fish again, measure again, but the whole idea is to try to do it as fast as possible. A fast catch and release. That's what we want, right? So I think I covered everything here when it comes to measuring a fish. I hope these little tips help. Any questions, feel free to message me, DM me on Instagram, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. Cheers.